follower of Jesus starts with the things that you do every day. So even the small things like greeting people in the morning, when you see the guards when you enter the gate, saying hi, diba? Or when you meet your friends, or whenever you hang out, you try to, as much as you can, lead by example. Like the little things, I think those are a way for me to showcase how much of a follower I am of Jesus. Actually, it's amazing how God works in the little things that I do. Even in just talking to people, being a student is a ministry, definitely. As a student, in the small things that I can do, being a cheerleader is also a ministry for me. Being a student athlete, because there's always that line that they always tell us, lead by example. And I feel like that's very important, especially when you're in college, because influences are everywhere and it's so easy to get swayed. Lately, we've been having praise nights and we've been inviting people to come, and actually, people actually show up. They really come and they have a lot of fun. Parang, if there was one thing na I realized is we shouldn't be afraid to talk to even just one person. As in, you don't even have to talk to like dozens of people. You don't even have to preach. You don't even have to like lead a Bible study na a group of 30 people. All you have to do is just reach out to one person. Maybe it's your seatmate, or maybe it's the person you last spoke to in class. I started building a relationship, making sure that the person feels na I'm there for them, or like I love them as a friend, or like whenever they need someone to talk to, that I'm just here. And I guess that's how God works also, because it comes to a point where they start asking me, hi, so I'm Chanelle and I'm from Ateneo. My normal day-to-day routine as a student, well, I usually get up around maybe like 8 or 9, depending on my schedule. And then I'd get ready for school, and then I'd commute. It takes about 30 minutes of a commute from my house to school. Although I live like around 2 kilometers away from Ateneo. And then, yeah, and I would go to school, spend the entire day, meet up with friends. Then sometimes I'd have Bible study groups and all. And then usually after school, I would either go to training, because I'm in the cheerleading team of Ateneo, or I would go to the games, like basketball games, and cheer there, do half times and all. Yeah. Well, I guess it starts with every day kasi. I think being a follower of Jesus starts with the things that you do every day. So even the small things like greeting people in the morning, when you see the guards when you enter the gate, saying hi, diba? Or when you meet your friends, or whenever you hang out, you try to, as much as you can, lead by example. Like the little things, I think those are a way for me to showcase how much of a follower I am of Jesus. Yeah. Actually, it's amazing how God works in the little things that I do. Even in just talking to people, sometimes I never expected that I'd end up talking to a specific person, although I've been wanting to talk to them about, like in person like that. Like, for example, there's this one time, I know that I have a friend who's been really down these past few weeks, and I've been really wanting to talk to him. And I just couldn't find like a way to talk to him or how to start. And part of talking to him is also sharing to him that God is there, that God loves him, and that whatever happens, like there's someone he can depend on, and that's Jesus. And it was such a struggle and frustration for me because I didn't know how to do it. But I guess God slowly worked between me and the person, and somehow I was able to share, and then I was able to bring him to church. And now, recently, he attended college camp, and he constantly attends now, and he has an accountability group as well. So I guess in those little things, I felt grace. I felt a lot of grace throughout my stay in Ateneo, like especially in academics. I mean, I've always been open that there were times that I failed. Like the lowest points in my life happened when I got to college. I've never experienced failing in school. I've never experienced feeling like a disappointment to my family until I got to college. I also never felt yung mga being exposed to influences that I didn't want to or I didn't expect that I'd be like drawn to until I got to college. And parang during those times when I failed math twice or during the times when my parents were quite sad about what happened to me or what's been happening to me, I that was a time where I felt that God was there for me the most. As in, I felt na there was grace and I was able to bounce back. And I wouldn't be where I am right now if it weren't for my journey with God during those points in my life. Well, Frontline, I guess. Frontline is our campus ministry here in Ateneo. We call it Ateneo Frontline. Sorry. We meet around once or twice a week for fellowship, for Bible study. We go out for dinners. We have events, praise nights, and all that. And I guess I was able to build spiritual discipline there, making sure na I'm accountable to my friends and that there's accountability between me and the people around me, and discipleship also, like having a discipler around. My discipler, Ate Didi, ganyan. Even though she's not part of Ateneo Frontline, I was able to build that relationship with her as well. I'm also part of the Youth Live Ministry also in GCF, diba? And I was able to meet that through Frontline. Kasi before naman going to the church I'm in right now, which is GCF, I was first part of Frontline. I was introduced to Frontline by a friend during a very low point in my life. Yun nga, when I felt like I didn't know where to go or I didn't know what to do. Because I've always been Christian naman growing up, but I guess I was very routinal growing up and I never had that actual relationship with the Lord. And when I got to college, parang I was looking for a group and I just couldn't find the right one. Until one day, a friend asked me to join Frontline. Sobrang sumakto lang the schedule. As in, I didn't know, who would have known I was free pala to attend Bible study that one day, and I went. And then, I consistently went na after that, week by week. And then, I met new friends. Tapos, I started going back to church because I also stopped going to church after I got to college. Because I didn't feel like I needed church that time, or because I didn't have time. Because I had training, I had games, and then I had to study. So I didn't really have a lot of time. But I felt the hunger to seek the Lord more when I started, attending Frontline, going to campus ministry, and when I was tapped by someone from GCF to, build a relationship with other Christians like me. Student is a ministry, definitely. As a student, in the small things that I can do, being a cheerleader is also a ministry for me. Being a student athlete. Because there's always that line that they always tell us, lead by example. And I feel like that's very important, especially when you're in college, because influences are everywhere. And it's so easy to get swayed. And the little things that I get to do, like for example, as a student, making sure that everybody feels included, or making sure that no one gets left behind, or just making sure that you talk to that one person you see that's sad. There was this instance, we had an event in Maxis. Pastor JP from Youth told us that we'd have like a screening, a movie showing, just for fellowship in Maxis Katipunan. And he wanted it to be like a missions thing also, but more of a fellowship, not really like, talking about Jesus, more of just sitting down, getting to know people, and then sharing our testimonies in the process of it. And it was hard for me because parang the challenge was we needed to invite someone who hasn't gotten to know Jesus as much as we do yet. And it was very difficult for me because I didn't know how. I knew a lot of people I could invite. I just didn't know how to invite them, and I didn't know kasi how they would see that invitation as. Parang, because they could think about it in so many ways, and I didn't want them naman to go there and I'll have a good time also. But I guess it was that time where I felt like, sometimes God just does like things that, you just have to do it sometimes. So during that time, I invited a friend. Like, I just invited him, like, hey, I have an event in Maxis. I just went for it. I have an event in Maxis for my church. If you want to join us, it's a showing and there's free food, there's dinner, ganyan, and anyone can come. Kasi ang challenge naman sa amin ni Pastor JB was just to bring one person. So I was like, okay, sige, I'll bring this person. I feel like maybe this person could be someone I could bring. And he was actually very interested. And he was like, yeah, I'll go. So I was happy na, okay, I was able to invite the person, ganon. But what amazed me even more was because Pastor JP only asked me to bring one person. But that person told me that he told his friends about our event and that his friends are willing to join us. So imagine this one person, like, he was courageous enough to not even think about what our event was, that it was a church thing. He just invited his friends over because over dinner, over movies, and his friends just went. So parang I think that time I was kind of rebuked also na parang, what was I so afraid of that I couldn't even invite one person. And this one person who isn't even part of our community was just able to invite 12 other people to an event where I couldn't even invite one. Like, I didn't know what he was thinking that time. He just did it. And I felt like, why couldn't I do the same? Diba? Parang that was one super life-changing event in my life. Na parang, Lord, I don't know how you work, that you multiplied people to attend. And they all went. Like, everyone he invited went. Diba? Parang yun. That was super life-changing for me. I guess with everything that happened and in everything that's been happening with Frontline, like how lately we've been having praise nights and we've been inviting people to come, and actually people actually show up. They really come and they have a lot of fun. Parang if there was one thing na I realized is we shouldn't be afraid to talk to even just one person. As in, you don't even have to talk to like dozens of people. You don't even have to preach. You don't even have to like lead a Bible study na a group of 30 people. All you have to do is just reach out to one person. Maybe it's your seatmate, or maybe it's the person you last spoke to in class, or your teammate, or even someone you randomly see lang, ganon. Kasi parang you never know how that one person could reach even more people. And imagine you're in this community. Like for me, I'm in Ateneo. I'm in a place where there are around how many students? 2,000 students. There are how many staff? And I'm not just in Ateneo, I'm also in Katipunan, diba? Katipunan is an even larger area and there's so many people, diba? But you don't need to reach out to all of them because sometimes all you need to do is reach out to one person. Diba? And I said this also before, na parang 4 years is really short of a stay in college. But it's more than enough to reach out to one person. Diba? Just one person, and you never know how much of a difference it will be in his life, in her life, and in yours also. I started building a relationship, making sure that the person feels na I'm there for them, or like I love them as a friend, or like whenever they need someone to talk to, that I'm just here. And I guess that's how God works also, because it comes to a point where they start asking me, parang, oh, how are you so optimistic about life? Or like, how is it that people are already being so mean to you, but you get to respond in kindness to them pa? Or you try to tell, like, whenever a person asks me na parang, hindi ba ako nasasaktan? Na ganun yung pagtrato sa akin minsan. Na I get to respond na, not out of anger, but out of parang understanding and patience. And they start asking when it comes to that point, na parang, like, how are you like that? Or how is it that you were able to respond like that? And that's where I start Na parang, oh, because this is also how I felt when other people when I did something to someone else, that's how they responded to me. So I felt like that's how I should also respond to other people. Na parang it was just a domino effect of how other people were like that to me and how Jesus was like that to me also. Na I'm able to share it to other people so they can also see it. So parang that's how in small ways I get to do it also.